3 years, 1,095 days. That's how long I played the game, and here's the thing about games, someone always loses. I just didn't know it was going to be her. The fights always followed the same script, like a movie I had seen 16 times but couldn't turn off. She would get quiet first. Not normal quiet. The kind of quiet that fills a room like smoke. I would ask what's wrong. She would say nothing in that voice that meant everything. Then she would wait, let the silence stretch until I couldn't breathe. Then finally, around 11 p.m. on a Tuesday or Thursday, she would drop the bomb. Maybe we should just break up. The first time she said it, I felt like someone punched me in the chest. I couldn't eat for 2 days. I begged. I cried. I asked what I could do differently. I promised to change. I didn't even know what I was promising to change, but I promised anyway. And she let me. She watched me fall apart like a building collapsing. And then like magic, she would give me another chance. Like she was doing me a favor, like I had won a prize I didn't deserve. That was year 1. I was 24. I didn't know any better. By year 2, I recognized the pattern, but I was still too scared to call her bluff. Every argument ended the same way. She would hold the relationship hostage, and I would pay whatever ransom she demanded, apologize for things I didn't do, change habits that weren't problems, cut off friends she didn't like, give her my phone password, share my location, check in every hour when I was out. She never actually wanted to leave. I figured that out around month 8. She wanted to watch me fight to keep her. It made her feel powerful. It made her feel wanted. It made her feel like she had won something. The problem was, I was the one losing. I know that now. I didn't know it then. Or maybe I did. Maybe I knew it the whole time and just didn't want to admit it. The night everything changed was a Thursday, October 12th. I remember because I had just gotten home from a 10-hour shift at work. I was exhausted. My back hurt from standing all day. I hadn't eaten since a granola bar at 1:30 p.m. She was sitting on the couch with her arms crossed. Her jaw was set. I knew that pose. I had seen it 21 times before. Each time my heart rate would spike. Each time I would feel that familiar dread in my stomach. But this time was different. This time, I was just tired. "We need to talk," she said. I set down my bag. "Okay. I don't think you love me anymore." 3 years ago, those words would have made me crumble. 2 years ago, they would have made me panic. 1 year ago, they would have made me defensive. Tonight, I just stood there. She waited for me to argue. When I didn't, her eyes narrowed. Her arms tightened across her chest. "Did you hear me? I said I don't think you love me." "I heard you." "And? And what?" The confusion on her face was genuine. I had seen her angry. I'd seen her sad. I had seen her smug. I'd never seen her confused. This wasn't how the scene was supposed to go. I was supposed to rush over, hold her hands, list all the reasons I loved her, promise to be better, cry a little, beg a lot. Instead, I just stood there by the door with my bag still in my hand. "Okay," she said slowly, trying to regain control. "Then maybe we should break up." Those words used to send me into a panic. My hands would sweat, my throat would close up. I would say anything to make her take it back, but something was different now. Maybe it was the exhaustion, maybe it was the memory of the last 16 times she had said it. Maybe it was the hunger. Maybe it was the quiet voice in my head that had been whispering for months. I looked at her. "Okay." She blinked. "What?" "Okay. If that's what you want." That's not what I said." "You said maybe we should break up." "Yeah. But what?" She stood up now, her arms uncrossed. She was looking at me like I had started speaking a different language. Her mouth opened and closed twice before words came out. "I'm saying I don't feel loved." She tried again, her voice shaking slightly. "And if you can't make me feel loved, then what's the point?" "That's a fair question." So I guess there isn't a point." The silence that followed lasted maybe 8 seconds. It felt like 8 hours. I could hear the refrigerator humming. I could hear a car driving past outside. I could hear her breathing get faster. "Are you seriously just going to agree?" Her voice was higher now. The confidence was cracking like old paint. "You asked me a question. I gave you an answer." "I didn't ask you anything. I was trying to have a conversation about our relationship." No, you were threatening to leave because I worked late, 3 nights in a row. Like, you did last month, and the month before that, and the month before that, and 13 times before that. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. That's not fair. Probably not. So you're just going to walk away? After 3 years? I'm not walking away. You're the one who brought up breaking up. You're the one who has brought it up 17 times now. This is the 17th time you have told me you want to leave. I brought it up because I wanted you to fight for us. There it was. The truth. She actually said it out loud. No filter, no manipulation, just raw honesty. She wanted me to fight. She wanted me to prove myself. She wanted me to show her that I was scared of losing her, and for 3 years, I had done exactly that, but not tonight. I walked to the bedroom. She followed me. Her footsteps were fast and loud on the hardwood floor. What are you doing? I opened the closet and pulled down my suitcase. The big one. The one I used for week-long trips. Not the small carry-on. Packing. You're being ridiculous. Probably. Stop. Just stop. I didn't mean it, okay? I didn't mean it. I was just upset. I kept packing. Jeans, 4 pairs, shirts, 6 of them, my laptop, the external hard drive with all my photos from the last 5 years, my charger, my toothbrush, my passport, a jacket, 2 pairs of shoes. I moved methodically, not fast, not slow, just steady, like I was following a checklist I had written in my head months ago. Because I was. Babe, baby, look at me. I looked at her. She was crying now, real tears. Not the performance tears she used when she wanted me to feel guilty. These were different. Her face was red. Her hands were shaking. I'm sorry, she said. I just get scared sometimes. I get insecure. You know that. You know how I am. I do know how you are. So stay, please. Let's talk about this. Let's go to couples therapy. I'll go. I promise I'll go. We've had this conversation 16 times. That's not... You counted? I didn't have to count. I remember every single time you told me you wanted to break up. Every single one. The first time was March 12, 2021. You were mad because I didn't post you on Instagram for our 6-month anniversary. I spent 3 days apologizing. I bought you flowers. I took you to that expensive Italian place you liked. I spent $240 on dinner just to prove I cared. She stared at me. The second time was May 3, 2021. You were upset because I didn't text you back fast enough while I was at work. I was in a meeting for 2 hours. You said I was prioritizing my job over you. I almost quit that job. The third time was July 18, 2021. Your friend's boyfriend bought her a necklace and I didn't buy you one. So you told me you didn't think we were compatible. I bought you the necklace the next day. It cost $400. I've changed since then, she whispered. Have you? I'm trying. That's not the same thing. I zipped the suitcase. 1 bag, everything I actually needed. The rest was just stuff. Clothes I never wore, books I'd already read, a gaming console I could replace. Stuff. You can't just leave, she said. Her voice was cracking now. Where are you even going to go? I'll figure it out. You don't have anywhere to go. You don't have family here. You don't have friends who would take you in. You pushed all of them away. That one stung. Because it was true. Over 3 years, I had lost touch with almost everyone. She didn't like my college friends. She didn't like my coworkers. She didn't like my cousin who I grew up with. One by one, I stopped answering their calls. One by one, they stopped calling. I have a credit card and a full tank of gas. That's enough for now. This is insane. You're being insane. Maybe. I picked up my suitcase and walked to the front door. She ran ahead of me and stood in front of it, arms spread wide, like she was guarding a basketball hoop. Move. No. Move or I call the cops. You wouldn't. I will. She stared at me for 5 seconds, then she moved. I opened the door. The hallway was quiet. 9:47 p.m. on a Thursday. The neighbors were probably watching through their peepholes. I could see Mrs. Patterson from 4B peeking out. I didn't care. Where are you going? She asked one more time. Her voice was small now. The anger was gone. The performance was gone. She sounded like a little kid who lost their parents in a grocery store. I don't know yet. When will you be back? I looked at her for the last time. Her face was wet. Her nose was running. Her hair was a mess. She looked nothing like the woman I had begged for 3 years. I won't. The door closed behind me. I heard her start to cry. Not the quiet kind. The kind where your whole body shakes. Then, I heard her yell. A loud, animal sound. Then, I heard something hit the door. A shoe maybe. A remote. A coffee mug. Didn't matter. I walked to my car, loaded the suitcase into the trunk, got in the driver's seat, and I sat there for maybe 5 minutes just breathing. My hands were shaking, my heart was pounding. Part of me wanted to go back inside. Part of me wanted to hold her and tell her it was okay. That was the part she had spent 3 years training. But a louder part of me just wanted to drive. So I did. I ended up at a Holiday Inn near the airport, $93 plus tax. The woman at the front desk didn't ask questions. She just took my credit card and handed me a key card. Room 217. The room smelled like bleach and old carpet. The bed had a weird stain on the comforter. The TV was bolted to the dresser so no one could steal it. It was the best room I had ever been in. I ate a cold sandwich from the vending machine. Turkey and cheese on white bread, $5.50. I ate it sitting on the edge of the bed staring at the wall. Then I watched terrible cable TV until I fell asleep around 2 a.m. The next morning I had 47 text messages from her. The first 10 were angry. All caps. How could you do this? You're a coward. I can't believe you actually left. You never loved me. The next 15 were sad. I'm crying so hard right now. I thought you loved me. Please, come home. I can't sleep without you. The last 22 were a loop between bargaining and denial. I'll change, I promise. Just come talk to me. I didn't mean it. You know I didn't mean it. We can fix this. Please. 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 I didn't respond to any of them. I called my boss instead, told him I needed a week off. Family emergency. He didn't ask questions. He was a good boss. He said take 2 weeks, don't worry about it. Then I started looking at apartments. Not in our city. Not in our state. Somewhere else. Somewhere far. Somewhere she would never think to look. I found a studio in Portland, Oregon. 612 square feet. Month-to-month lease. $100 a month. Cheap enough that I could afford it for 3 months even without a job lined up. I applied online, got approved in 3 hours. The next day I drove 826 miles. She didn't stop calling for 2 weeks. Dozens of calls. Dozens of texts. Then the voicemail started. Day 3. I hate you. I hope you know that. I hate you for doing this to me. I hate you for making me feel like this. You're a terrible person. Day 5. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Please just tell me where you are. I'm not even mad anymore. I just want to talk. Day 7. I talked to your mom. She said she hasn't heard from you. Is she lying? Are you lying to her too? What did you tell her? Day 10. I'm not okay. I'm really not okay. I haven't eaten in 3 days. I can't get out of bed. You can't just disappear like this. It's not fair. Day 12. I told my therapist about us. She said you have avoidant attachment issues. That's what this is, isn't it? You're just scared of intimacy. You're scared of being loved. That's not my fault. Day 14. Please, just one call. Just tell me you're alive. That's all I need. Then I'll leave you alone. I promise. I listened to all of them. Every single one. Not because I missed her. I didn't miss her. I missed the idea of her. I missed what I thought we could be. But her, the real her, the one who threatened me and manipulated me and isolated me from everyone I loved. I didn't miss that person at all. I listened to the voicemails because I needed to remind myself why I left. Every time I felt guilty, every time I thought about calling her back, I would play one of those voicemails, and I would remember. On day 15, I changed my number. Here's what she never understood. When you hold a gun to someone's head every time you want something, eventually they stop being afraid of the gun. Eventually they start hoping you'll just pull the trigger so they can stop flinching. She thought she was teaching me to behave. She thought she was training me to be a better boyfriend. Every ultimatum, every threat, every maybe we should break up was supposed to make me more desperate to keep her. But that's not what happened. The first time, she threatened to leave. I couldn't breathe. My whole world collapsed. I would have done anything. The fifth time, my heart still raced. I still panicked, but I also felt a tiny flicker of something else, annoyance. The 10th time, I felt annoyed more than scared. I remember thinking, here we go again, while I went through the motions of begging. The 15th time, I started imagining what my life would look like if she actually followed through. I pictured my apartment without her stuff. I pictured my weekends without her fights. I pictured sleeping without waking up at 3 a.m. wondering what I had done wrong. The 16th time, I had already packed a bag in my head. I knew exactly what I would take. I knew where I would go. I knew how much money I needed. I had a plan. I just hadn't executed it yet. She gave me the 17th ultimatum and I finally took the exit I had been building in my mind for months. She thought I was being impulsive. She thought I was having some kind of breakdown. I had never been more prepared for anything in my life. Portland was good to me. I found a job within 3 weeks. Not a great job. I was slinging coffee at a local shop for $14.75 an hour plus tips. The tips were decent, maybe another $100 a week, enough to cover rent and food and not much else, but it was enough. The studio was small, but it was mine, no one else's. I could leave my shoes in the middle of the floor. I could eat cereal for dinner at 10 p.m. I could watch whatever I wanted on TV without someone sighing loudly to let me know they were bored. No one threatened to leave when I worked late. No one started fights because I didn't say the right thing at the right time. No one checked my phone. No one asked where I was every hour. I started going to the gym, 4 days a week, nothing crazy. Just 30 minutes on the treadmill and some weights, enough to feel strong. I started reading again, real books, not just scrolling my phone. I read 12 books in my first 3 months in Portland. I hadn't read 12 books in the previous 3 years combined. I started sleeping through the night. No more 3 a.m. wake-ups. No more racing thoughts. No more wondering what I had done wrong. Just sleep. Deep, quiet, uninterrupted sleep. My mom called me after a month. She said my ex had shown up at her house. Crying. Begging. Asking where I was. What did you tell her? I asked. I told her the truth. That I didn't know where you were. Because I didn't. And even if I did, I wouldn't have told her. The way she talked to me in my own kitchen. Honey, I'm glad you left. That hurt more than anything. My mother, who never said a bad word about anyone in her entire life, was glad I left. That told me everything I needed to know. 6 months later, I got a text from an unknown number. Hey, it's me. I know you changed your number, but I got this from your sister. I'm sorry I bothered her. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. I've been going to therapy twice a week. I got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I'm not making excuses. I just wanted you to know that I know now. I know what I did. I hope you're okay. I hope you're happy. That's all I wanted. I stared at the message for a long time. Maybe 10 minutes. Just holding my phone, reading the words over and over. Part of me wanted to respond, to tell her I was fine, to wish her well, to give her the closure she clearly wanted, to prove that I was the bigger person. But I didn't. Not because I was angry. I wasn't angry anymore. Anger would have meant I still cared. Anger would have meant she still had power over me. I just didn't have anything to say to her. I had spent 3 years giving her every word I had, every apology, every promise, every explanation, every defense, and none of it was ever enough. So now, I had nothing left to give. I blocked the number and went back to my day. A year after I left, I heard through the grapevine that she had gotten engaged, some guy she met in her therapy group. I hoped it worked out for her. I really did. I hoped she had done the work. I hoped she had changed. I also hoped she wasn't pulling the same crap with him. But that wasn't my problem anymore. I was managing the coffee shop by then. $21.50 an hour, plus tips. Still not rich, but comfortable. I had a savings account for the first time in years. $4,700. Not a fortune, but enough that I didn't panic every time my car made a weird noise. I had a girlfriend named Jess who worked at the bookstore down the street. We had been together for 4 months. She didn't start fights. She didn't threaten to leave. When we had problems, we talked about them like adults. We used I feel statements and everything. It was weird. It was also amazing. One night we were sitting on my tiny balcony, sharing a beer, watching the rain. Portland rain, the kind that never really stops but never really pours either. Just a steady drizzle that makes everything smell like wet dirt and pine trees. Jess asked me about my last relationship. What happened? Why I left so suddenly? Why I never went back? I thought about it for a minute. I took a sip of my beer. I watched a car drive past on the street below. She thought the threat of losing her was the worst thing that could happen to me, I said. Turns out, losing her was the best thing that could happen to me. Jess didn't ask any more questions. She just put her hand on mine, and we watched the rain. Here's what I learned. People like my ex don't actually want to leave. They want you to be scared that they might. That fear is their power. That fear is what makes you small. That fear is what makes you say yes when you want to say no. That fear is what kept me trapped for 3 years. The only way to win is to stop being afraid, not to fight back, not to prove them wrong, not to get revenge. Revenge would have meant staying in the game. Revenge would have meant letting her live in my head for free. The only way to win is to just say, okay, because okay is the one word they have no answer for. They expect screaming. They expect crying. They expect you to fall to your knees and promise the moon. They expect you to play your part in their script. They do not expect you to pack one suitcase and drive 826 miles into a life they cannot touch. They do not expect you to change your number and never look back. They do not expect you to be fine. That's not revenge. That's just freedom. But it feels a lot like revenge. She never saw me again. Not once. Not at a grocery store. Not at a gas station. Not through a mutual friend's wedding. Not at a restaurant. Not at a mall. Not anywhere. I became exactly what she threatened to make me. Gone. The difference is she thought losing me would break me. She thought I would come crawling back. She thought I would realize I couldn't survive without her. She was wrong. Losing her just made me lighter. And I have been flying ever since.